I am a 45-year-old woman, and my husband, who is 46, and I have been married for our entire adult lives. We have 3 wonderful kids together, and we had our first child right out of high school. Recently, I noticed something unusual on our phone bill. My husband had been calling a particular girl quite frequently. Over 60 calls in 30 days, each lasting between 20 to 50 minutes. Don't get me wrong, I don't usually check the phone bill. But my husband went from being loving, hugging, holding, and kissing me to barely touching me and acting distant and mean. He started attacking me over small things, blaming me for everything that went wrong in the house or with the kids. It was like he had become a completely different person overnight. We had just taken a trip out of town, and he was so attentive and loving. But not long after we came back, he changed. I thought his behavior might be due to stress at work or because one of his good friends had just passed away. I tried to give him time and be there for him. I cleaned the house, worked full-time, and took care of all the things the kids needed. With Christmas approaching, I thought things would get better after the holiday rush. But it didn't get better, it got worse. He started talking down to me, ignoring me when I spoke to him. Our phone calls lasted between 1 to 2 minutes. He wouldn't even ask me anything, just, "I'm on my way home, what's for dinner, bye." I gave him a pass, thinking he was stressed about the upcoming funeral for his friend. The funeral was about 3 hours away, and we planned to stay at a hotel. A week before, he insisted I shouldn't go because someone needed to take our son to work, even though I had already arranged for someone else to do it. He was adamant, so I thought he just needed time alone to process. Looking back, I feel like an idiot. I should have known something was up, but I trusted him. He went to the funeral and barely spoke to me all weekend. Normally, when he went out of town, he would call me often, especially during the drive. When he came back, he was so rude, snapping at everything I said. I would say good morning, and he would bite my head off. I started suspecting there was something else going on. One day, my son asked me to check something on our phone bill. My gut told me to check my husband's usage, and I found it so many calls, 322 minutes worth in less than 30 days. I checked the number and found out it was a good friend of one of our friends. I confronted him, and if you've ever met a narcissist, you know how it goes. Everything was my fault. We had a rocky relationship in the past, with both of us having strayed about 10 years ago. According to him, they were just friends, just talking. He said he couldn't talk to me the way he could talk to her. I lost it. We had been married for so long, since I was 17, of course our conversations are going to be different. But it's even more so when he doesn't engage. We talked about it a few times, and every time he would turn the conversation around, bringing up our past, well, really only mine, forgetting about his. We started moving past this, but I was starting to feel like I was going crazy. I felt like something was wrong, but he adamantly told me nothing was happening. I asked him to unfriend her on social media and be present with his family. It seemed fine for a while. He was more attentive, loving, and engaged in conversations. A couple of months later, because I had zero trust in him at this point, I checked to see if he was friends with her on social media. There she was. I confronted him the same day. He had such a sheepish look, like he had gotten caught. But then he immediately changed it and said it was no big deal, they were just friends. My reply was, if it's no big deal, they don't need to be friends. I felt like a crazy person, checking social media to see if they were friends and checking the phone bill. I started getting really suspicious because he started calling me on Google Chat. He said, "Oh, I just clicked it to call." Sure, you did. You don't just click Google Call unless you have it set up on your phone like that. He unfriended her again and started trying to treat me better, buying me things, getting me a new car, and taking on more chores at home to help out. Now here we are, 4 months later. We have been traveling together, visiting family out of state. We have been making plans for the future. Our kids are older, so we were planning for when we are empty nesters. He was buying me little gifts, talking to me, and being attentive. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was up. Boy, was I not prepared for what I found. My body still feels numb, and I'm breaking down just writing this. But I need to get it out, maybe it will help someone else. Something told me I needed to dig a little more. There was something I was missing, right in front of my face. I had access to his Gmail. I checked for emails, trash, spam, notes, his Google calls, you name it. Nothing seemed weird. I opened one of the menus, and that's when it hit me. Do I really want to know the truth? Am I prepared for this? Google Maps. Your timeline paints a very detailed picture. He had been going to her house once a week, give or take. I matched up his map to my calendar and the text messages he was sending me at the time. He said he was working late. Nope, he was at her house. Oh, that funeral out of town that I couldn't go to. He left our house, went to hers, drove to the funeral. The next day, he drove to her house and then back home. I went to my niece's birthday party alone because he was working. Nope. Well, he did work, then went to her house. This broke me. I went day by day for a 6-month period and found so many lies. Every time I went out of town to visit family, he was with her. He went to pick up our son from work, but stopped at her house first. Going to a work dinner, he stopped at her house afterward. Over and over, it was like this. So, I broke into his Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. It wasn't just this girl, there were so many, asking for inappropriate pictures, talking bad about me, and flirting with every girl. It looked like he got in the habit of deleting messages because there seemed to be gaps in the dates. Although this is just speculation. Some of them were my friends. I had wondered why they suddenly unfollowed me and stopped reaching out. So, I messaged them as though I was him, just the 2 most recent ones. One of them sent me 24 inappropriate pictures. The other had a flirty reply. I responded to the pictures, thanks for the pictures. This is his wife. The other one, who used to cut my hair, just responded with, thanks. But there were enough previous messages for me to say, hi, this is his wife. Nice messages. Then, I texted the girl he had gone out of town with. At first, I was mad at her too, but he is such a manipulative person that I'm sure, even though she is guilty as well, he twisted the whole situation to his advantage. Her best friend is a friend of ours. She knows we are married. Between the maps and the timeline, I had most of the situation pieced together. So, my text to her was, how many times have you been with my husband? I just wanted to know because from what I can see, he has been doing us both back to back. He had been telling her we weren't together, that we were just staying together until our kids graduated from high school, that we weren't together in any meaningful way, that we were like roommates. I'm sorry if this came out in a bit of a garbled mess, but I needed to get this out, and maybe someone else can use it. Google Maps helped, and reverse phone number lookup. I pieced it together as though I knew it all, as if someone had told me, and he couldn't say anything. He texted me when he noticed the messages I was sending on Instagram, or one of the girls reached out to him and told him to get out of the house. He admitted everything. We talked about everything, our whole past, all the things that have ever happened. I'm hoping he was being honest, but I question everything he says and does. I honestly don't know what to do at this point. He is all I've known for so long. Do I take this as a midlife crisis or end it? Honestly, I'm at a loss and just so numb. So, I did something I never thought I would do. I hired a private investigator. I needed to know the full extent of his betrayal. Was it just this one girl or were there more? Was he hiding anything else? The investigator followed him for 2 weeks, and what he found shocked me to my core. My husband wasn't just seeing one woman, there were multiple. He had a whole secret life. He would tell me he was working late, but he was really out whining and dining different women. One night, he even took a woman to a fancy restaurant we used to go to for our anniversaries. It felt like a knife to my heart. The investigator got pictures, videos, and even some audio recordings. I had undeniable proof now. I confronted him with all the evidence. At first, he tried to deny it, but when I showed him the pictures, he couldn't lie anymore. He broke down and admitted to everything. He confessed that he had been seeing multiple women for over a year. He said he felt trapped in our marriage, that he needed excitement, and that he didn't know how to tell me. He begged for forgiveness, saying he still loved me and our family. But it was too late for apologies. The damage was done. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and deeply hurt. Our marriage, which I thought was solid, was built on lies. I decided to take control of the situation. I contacted a lawyer and filed for divorce. It wasn't an easy decision, but it was the right one for me. I needed to protect myself and my children from his toxic behavior. As the divorce proceedings started, my husband tried to win me back. He sent me flowers, wrote me letters, and even showed up at my work. He promised to change, to go to therapy, to do anything to save our marriage. but I stood my ground. I was done being lied to and disrespected. The twist came when I found out that one of the women he was seeing was pregnant. This complicated things even more. He begged me to stay, saying he would leave her, that he made a mistake. But I couldn't trust him anymore. The lies had piled up too high. Throughout this ordeal, I found support in unexpected places. Friends I hadn't talked to in years reached out to me. My kids, though hurt and confused, stood by me. They saw the strength I was showing, and it gave them strength too. I started going to therapy, which helped me process my emotions and plan for the future. In the end, the divorce was finalized, and I got custody of the kids. We moved to a new house, a fresh start for all of us. My ex-husband moved in with a woman he got pregnant. I heard through the grapevine that their relationship was rocky, filled with arguments and distrust. Life after divorce wasn't easy, but it was liberating. I rediscovered myself, found new hobbies, and started a new job. I made new friends and reconnected with old ones. Slowly but surely, I built a new life for myself and my children. One day, while going through some old boxes, I found a letter my husband had written to me when we first got married. It was filled with love and promises of a future together. It made me realize how much we had lost, how much he had thrown away. But it also made me realize how strong I had become. I had survived his betrayal and come out stronger on the other side. This journey taught me the importance of trust, the strength of self-love, and the power of moving forward. I may have lost a husband, but I gained a deeper understanding of myself and what I deserve. And that's a lesson I will carry with me for the rest of my life.